So this is the 21st Century's Hockey Stories 2nd edition. We're moving on in alphabetical order down to the Arizona Coyotes, or the Phoenix Coyotes, as they would start off in 1996 after having just moving to Phoenix. They came in 5th place playing the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim. In the Western quarterfinals, they lost games 1 and 2 in Anaheim, came back, won games 3 and 4 at home. They won game 5 in Anaheim. In game 6, overtime, with a chance to eliminate the Ducks, but they lost 3-2. And then they lost game 7, 3-0 in Anaheim. We've been over that series. Oh, dang it, you guys again. The Red Wings, boy, we're gonna get more of the Red Wings too. Anyway, 1997 season, the Coyotes come in 6th place. They face the Red Wings in the first round. They lose game 1, win game 2. They come back to Phoenix to win game 3, leading the series 2-1. They would drop games 4, 5, and 6 to be eliminated. They would make the playoffs the next year in 4th place against the St. Louis Blues. They would lose game 1 at home. They would win game 2 in overtime with a score of 4-3. They would win games 3 and 4 in St. Louis. They would lose game 5, 2-1 in overtime at home. They would lose game 6 in St. Louis. And then in game 7, the game went to overtime at a scoreless tie. And then St. Louis would score the game's first and only goal, eliminating the Coyotes again. 1999 to 2000, they face off against the Avalanche, who were in 3rd place at the time. They would lose games 1, 2, and 3. They would win game 4, but inevitably they would lose in game 5 to be eliminated. The very next year, they came in 9th place. They missed the playoffs on a tiebreaker. But 2001 to 2002, they would be back in the playoffs. Western quarterfinals against San Jose Sharks. They would lose game 1 in San Jose. They would win game 2, but they would drop the last 3 games of the series, 3, 4, and 5, to be eliminated. So, 2002 2003, they'd come in 11th place and miss the playoffs. They would miss the playoffs the very next year, the 03-04 season. And in the 2004-2005 season, the Coyotes did not win a single game. But to be fair, they didn't play any games, because there was a lockout. 2005-2006, they come in 12th place. 2006-07, they come dead last in the Western Conference. See, these are the Coyotes we know today. 12th place, 13th place. But then in 2009-2010, they come in 4th place, making the playoffs once again so they could face the Red Wings. I'm really starting to hate the Red Wings, but I mean, I already did, but anyway, sick of them now. But the Coyotes would win game 1 at home. They would lose game 2. Game 3 in Detroit would be a victory for the Yotes. They would lose game 4. And then they lost game 5 at home. They won game 6 to force a game 7 at home. And they were just blown out 6-1. Anyone sick of the Red Wings yet? No? Alright, very next year they come in 6th place, swept by the Red Wings. So the next year they come in 3rd place, and they face the Blackhawks. And because we're done with the Red Wings now. Good. They would win game 1 in overtime, 3-2 at home. They would lose game 2, 4-3 in overtime. Both games 3 and 4 in Chicago would have a final of 3-2 in overtime. They would lose game 5 at home, 2-1 in overtime. Game 6 in Chicago, the Coyotes would win 4-0 to advance to the Western Conference semifinals for the first time in Phoenix. They would go on to face the Nashville Predators. They would win game 1, 4-3 in overtime. They would win game 2 at home. Game 3 in Nashville they dropped, but they would come back to win Game 4. They won Game 5 2-1 at home, advancing to the Western Conference Finals for the first time in franchise history. This includes when they were in Winnipeg as the Jets. So, Western Conference Finals against the Kings. The Kings had been the 8th seed, and the Coyotes would lose games 1 and 2 at home. Game 3 in Los Angeles, the Coyotes also dropped. They won Game 4 in LA, but at home with the series at 3-1 Kings. Game tied up at 3 in overtime. The Kings would score, eliminating the Coyotes. We're going to fast forward to 2018. The Coyotes have not made the playoffs, and the bankruptcy problem is getting worse. People trying to ship the Coyotes off to various other places, but it's not working in Glendale, where the Coyotes currently play, and that's where we're at. There is no happy ending. You should see the ending we get next week. It's not a good one. Anyway, that's it for the second edition of 21st Hockey Stories. This one was much shorter because the Coyotes didn't make the playoffs as much.